Good morning.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Brian. It's been a long time.
It has been. Hey, Rich.
Morning.
How's the swimming? How's the swimming, Rich?
Still doing it. I actually went to a competition last week for the first time in a year and a half, and it was kind of a rude awakening, but all good.
No world records this time?
No, I'm at the top of my age group, so I'm competing against myself.
Think of it as you're at the top of your game.
Well, they go in 5-year increments, so every time you turn like 60, 65, 70, 75, you get to be a kid again. So I'm at the wrong end of that spectrum. How are you doing?
I am okay, thank you.
As busy as ever?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah, the county stuff keeps busy. The people seem to think the mayor continues to have a magic wand, even, and normally things would be a little quieter from my constituents, but nobody wants to go to Tahoe because of the smoke.
Yeah, I hear it's getting bad up there. They have a race, swimming they have a race along the length of Donner Lake, which is 2.7 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be this weekend, and I think they're talking about calling it off because of the air quality. That's the one I didn't sign up for.
Morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Brian.
Hi, Jessica.
Morning, Rich. Morning, Elise. Good morning, Rebecca.
Morning.
Good morning, Kelly.
Elise, thanks for fixing the power in time for the meeting. Much obliged.
Thanks. I was a little worried about that when I came in this morning and the generator was going. Thank you to Sean, of course, probably somewhere for removing some tree someplace.
Woodland.
So Elise, do we have at least 4 members of the committee here right now?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, August the 10th, 2021. I'm Jessica Rising, Chair of the Town of San Anselmo's Economic Development Committee. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting. This meeting is being conducted via Zoom due to ongoing COVID restrictions. Public comments are accepted and welcome during the meeting, and there's 2 different ways. One is via Zoom using the link to raise your hand, and the other is via telephone. Running a meeting can sometimes be a little challenging, so if I have for any reason missed calling on somebody who wanted to speak, please alert me to that fact. A reminder, Town Manager Dave Donnery is on vacation. Welcome back, Elise, from vacation. Member Javier Fernandez has a conflict and will be approximately 45 minutes late. And yesterday morning, I received an email that Benedetto Chico may or may not be able to make this meeting. And late last night, I sadly spoke with EDC member Frank Gomez. His mother is extremely ill and in the hospital, and he may or may not be joining us at some point. And I send very caring thoughts to him and his family during this difficult time. I would like to start off with requesting to change the order of items on the agenda. And specifically, I'd like to request that we start off with item number 4.A, which is an update on Creekside Commons and the survey. And then we would immediately resume the order of the agenda, starting with the approval of the meeting minutes from our July meeting and open time for public expression. Are all of the members okay with that? Please raise your hand if everyone is. Okay, I'd like to welcome Kelly Warner, and I know Rich is here as Rich Burns as a backup. Kelly, you have the floor.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. So there's not a whole lot to report on Reimagine Creek Park, but currently we have a survey that's up, and there's a QR code sticker down on the big sign at the park, and Dave did a very targeted email to his town newsletter list, email to the Reimagine Creek Park list as well to encourage people.
Kelly, we're losing you. We cannot hear you. Rich, can you step in and report out on the survey? Would that be possible?
I think that
We've lost Kelly.
I think the report is just that it's happening.
Complete
And
the survey. It's basically just finding out. Yeah, well, you are. Wait, can you hear me? Okay, hold on.
You're
Let me
back
see
again.
if I can switch.
Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, better.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I don't know what you heard, but we're doing a survey just to find out what how people are using the park, how they'd like to use the park, just general information, you know, to then have input into the design. It's like the beginning stages of that. And so we've done Rich did a cool QR code sticker on the big sign down at the park, and Dave Donnery did a targeted email to his town newsletter email list, and then we're also doing a MailChimp direct mail to the Reimagine Creek Park list, just encouraging people to get on and complete the survey. So we're going to keep it up for a while because we know people are on vacation. So hopefully that will be successful. And then we'll have input to then begin the next phase, or the first phase of the design process. So that's kind of all there is to report at the moment. I don't know if Brian, you want to add anything, or Rich, but that's where we're at.
No,
Brian or Rich, do you have any? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I don't think so, Kelly. I mean, I think the survey's up. I mean, I think nobody's around in August. Of course, the Tahoe fires are sort of changing that dynamic. So I think we'll just sort of wait and see what kind of response we get, and then we'll close at a certain point. But I'll leave that in the hands of staff. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. Rich, did you have anything to add?
No, not on that point, no, Jessica.
Okay. Any questions from the other members?
I have
Oh,
a
Elise has a
question.
question.
You know, I
Elise,
was
you have a
wondering
question.
as I was doing the agenda, are we referring it to Creek Park or Creekside Commons at this point?
We can just that's an interesting question, which the Reimagine Creek Park Committee can take up.
Okay. Thank you, Elise. Any other questions? Any questions by the, oops, sorry. Any questions by the public? Okay, what I can do with Elise also is we can put it into the business newsletter that we'll be sending out in the next week, and we'll mention that as well. So thank you so much, Kelly. Moving forward to the next item on our agenda is approval of the EDC meeting minutes for our July 13th, 2021 meeting. The meeting minutes were emailed to everyone for review. Are there any for changes from EDC members? Okay, okay, since there are none, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Okay, Rebecca, anyone second it? I'll second. And now I'd like to put it out for a vote to approve the meeting minutes. All in favor, raise. Kelly, are you in favor? Okay, thank you. I think that was a yes. All right, the meeting minutes are approved. It's going to be one of these in one of those meetings, so I think we're just going to have to hang on and keep going. Okay, now we come to the part that I really like, is the open time for public expression. The public is welcome to address the committee on matters not on the agenda. The government code, the committee is not permitted to act on any matter not on the agenda unless it determines that an emergency exists or that the need to take action arose following the posting of the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless you're a organization, and you get 5 minutes. Planning Director Elise Simonian, do we have anyone from the public who wishes to address the EDC at this point?
We only have one member in our audience, and he does not have his hand raised.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll move on then to item number 4B on the agenda, which is an update on the Avenue and San Anselmo Live. Sean and Danielle, would you like to provide us with an update on how things are going?
Well, I can provide the base of what San Anselmo Live, what's going on with San Anselmo Live. That we have booked bands for the entire month of gosh, let's see, August and September. And gosh, that summer went fast, huh?
Mhm.
And down in Creek Park, and then for Friday and Saturdays from 6 to 9, and also up on Town Hall Plaza in partnership with Cucina. And Maddie O'Grady's done a great job of doing that. You can find the information on sanandselmalive.com. And I heard this past weekend was amazing, and the downtown was jumping. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sean if he has any further comment.
San Anselmo Live is all in your court, Maddie. I know you guys are on top of that. I'm just dealing with the avenue closures, which are related, obviously. And we've got our actually cleaning services closing the streets on Friday nights, and then Cucina is doing Saturday nights. So we've got it all worked out. There's some hiccups about who is closing and things like that. We have garbage being picked up actually twice a day now, Fridays through Sunday. Marin Sanitary picks up 7 days a week in the mornings. In the evenings, we have our cleaning service picking up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've added extra cans. In the beginning of COVID, there were 3 bathrooms. We went down to 1, but that was literally imploding. And so now we're back up to 3 bathrooms, which in theory, we're getting COVID money for. So that's pretty much it. Creek Park, I don't know, just so everyone knows, is on well water. So hopefully it's a little bit greener than most other places because it's getting watered.
Thank you so much, Sean. Any questions from EDC members?
Yeah, we're taking questions or comments right now.
It can be both.
Yeah, so Danielle, I believe I emailed you and Maddie over the weekend, but really, kudos to you and your team for organizing San Anselmo Live.
Thank you.
The dual band structure really lends itself to the configuration of our downtown. Thank you for your efforts.
Thanks.
I would agree. I've gone down there both on Friday and Saturday nights to kind of check and see how things are going. And they're just, the streets are filled with really happy people and music. And it's really just super exciting to see. So congratulations.
Jessica, do
I
we know
did-
anything? Do we know anything about how that translates into business for the merchants?
You know, that is a really good question, because as far as I know, most of the merchants, unless you're a restaurant, start closing when they're normally closing, which is either at 5 or 6. I know that Frank with Wink Optics keeps himself open and, has games and stuff like that. And he's trying to get other people to be there. I'm actually going to go on Friday night and Saturday, this upcoming events, and really walk the avenue and I can give out a report on that.
Can I speak to that, Jessica?
Yes.
Yeah, so on Saturday night, Rich, we may never know, and Javier is going to try and figure out what some metrics are. To me, the interesting thing, given it's a small sample size, was both the bookstore and Sassy Post were open on Saturday, and Cedars had an event. So, right, in my simplistic approach, right, only a business that's open that can take advantage of all the bodies in an area where people have median home values of 1 point whatever it is with disposable income in their pockets. So I just sort of look for some marginal value that the business are actually open to take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, when you speak to businesses, and again, this is sort of something we've all seen all over the place, like staffing is a real challenge. So to the extent that there were challenges sort of moving around staff later in the evening, it's even more problematic right now because businesses are having a hard time staffing during their regular hours. But I was certainly gratified to see 3 of the businesses open in the evening. And the bookseller, they had live music too. I couldn't tell where the music stopped and started as I strolled the realm. Walk the avenue.
Thank you, Mayor Colbert. I have one question about, this is to Sean. I know in the past we've had problems with shutting down and making sure that the cars are off the street. And we've had problems in the past where cars are actually moving when the streets close and people are walking around. Is that like not happening now, or what is your opinion on that?
So actually, one of the updates I didn't give you, I didn't go into full detail. Last Friday or Saturday, there were a lot of cars left on the street. So I actually called PD. They've been kind of having a little bit of a like hands off. Like in the beginning, it was, you know, you do a soft closure, which means you close the incoming traffic, and then a half an hour later, you close outgoing traffic. And then we leave Magnolia Avenue as a bleed off. But last week, it was really bad. There must have been at least a dozen cars out there and kids are playing in the street. So I called PD and had them come out. I wanted them to ticket everybody because I feel like people have enough notice and there's signs. But what they ended up doing, they were nice about it, nicer than I would have been. They ended up giving warning citations, and they take down the plates and they put little warning citations. So hopefully that works. I've been giving warning citations on parking spaces down here for 13 years, and it seems like people still don't pay attention. So I think tickets sometimes are the only way to get people's attention, but that's what they did, and they're going to be paying more attention. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by EDC members? Council Liaison Colbert. Okay.
I think
is
the
anybody,
execution is pretty well.
out there. Yeah, I would
Richard
agree.
Bergson has his hand raised. I'm going to allow him to talk.
Great, thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'd also like to echo how successful I think at least Saturday night was. I was there in the evening, and a lot of people, in fact, maybe because I like numbers, I actually estimated there were probably at least 400 people there, maybe more. And I heard a lot of very positive comments. I'm just wondering if Creekside Pizza is responsible for the garbage cans next to their building near the hand washing stations, and maybe this is a peak period problem, but they were overflowing at least at one point, and maybe I just came along at the wrong time. So I just wanted to mention that, but you know, everything was great. The music was great, sound system, you know, everything. So anyhow, thanks very much. That's all I had.
Thank you so much, Richard. Okay, anybody else, Elise, from the public that would like to make a comment?
No one else has their hand raised.
Okay, I think it's unanimous. It's really working out really well. Congratulations. Okay, moving on, item number 4.3 or C, and also welcome to Scott Schneider, who joined us. An update, COVID. Do you want to give an update, Elise? Elise, did you have an update on COVID?
Sorry, I'm having audio issues. So if you asked me something, I didn't catch it.
Can you give an update on COVID? On COVID,
Oh, okay.
An update on COVID.
Let me turn off my headphones because I can't hear anything.
The only update that I have is that our masks are now required. So we've printed out more mask posters for the businesses to obtain from.
You're freezing up.
That also they can get them delivered if they contact us for Rising.
Thank you. Yeah, and I have not received any messages or contact from anybody to deliver them. Anyway, thank you so much, Elise. Any questions from EDC members or Council Liaison Colbert?
No updates.
No updates. Okay. Elise, anybody from the public that would like to give an update or have a question?
Okay. No.
No? Okay. Moving forward, we'll move to item number 4D, which is about the sign program, the signs for the vacant sites. And here to present and propose new addition to our sign program is EDC member and sign guru, Rich Burns. Rich, you have the floor. And we have your signs up as well.
Okay, Elise, what other do you have the graphics of just of the layout for the windows themselves?
No, no, but I could look actually while you, I hope, if you want to
Let me
talk about
send
it.
you- Let me send you something real quick, because this isn't what.
Okay.
Um, Bear with me. Well, Jessica, can you move on to another item and if I thought you guys
Sure.
had these graphics or
Um,
not.
The next item on the agenda was taking a look at the business spotlight section. And in the past, we've invited members of our business community to come and speak with EDC members about who they are, what they're doing, various challenges. And it's been brought up that we might want to take a look at, moving forward, what do we want this to be? Do we want to make changes? And so the intent was to have this as an agenda item today and have everybody discuss and possibly get approval to have a subcommittee take a look at it. In talking with Elise Simonian, we're missing 3 people out of the 4. And she felt that we may want to put this over to our September meeting so that we have a majority of people here to discuss this, to move it forward. So can I put that out to everybody?
I have some thoughts. I'm not sure. I have some thoughts about what it should be. I don't know if you want to table it or not, but it's at a high level. There's 2 quick things. I think it would be interesting to speak to businesses that do not come to San Anselmo. That's who I would ask to come in on the business spotlight. I don't know what you want to call
A
it. Now,
section of it, right? Which makes sense to me, like for example, Baked Blooms or, the yarn shop that took off for other. So I guess, the big, what I'd like to do is to recommend that we table this until our September meeting, because also Kelly is not able to participate in it at this point. And I think it's a conversation that we really should have everybody involved in. So if everybody is okay, I'd like to move it to September.
In the meantime, should we be reaching out to those businesses that have chosen not to come to San Anselmo? I can own that as part of the welcoming. It's not the unwelcoming, but it's the we'd like to welcome you and how can we conversation.
For me, it falls under the attracting the right businesses to our town. That action item is an important one, and that falls because the welcome is they've come, they're opening their door, they've committed, they're there, and I think that what Mayor Colbert is recommending is a really good recommendation, because it's it's not only the people that are making the decision to come here, but why are other businesses not opening up in San Anselmo? Like the Baked Blooms, one Top Chef, I think it was a Top Chef or Food Network contest, who opted to go to San Rafael. It would be very interesting to interview her and find out what, if you live here, why did you make that choice? But that's just my 2 cents as well. So I think that what I'd like to do is to really just push the whole topic so that we can do it justice and do a really good job on September. Just with the number of people that are missing, I think we're not going to be able to do what we need to do. Rebecca, you're asking whether it's okay that you do outreach to them. I mean, I think
I think
Who
it's
owns
great.
that?
I guess. Rebecca, you say offering to actually go ahead and get some legwork and try and line these folks up, right? Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah, I'm just asking who owns it and if you need me to get involved. But also, as a business owner, I don't think it's that complicated. I think the Baked Blooms woman probably looked around and there wasn't a bakery available in downtown San Anselmo. So economies of scale, San Rafael, there's more bakeries. I just think it's not like personal. Why she didn't open her bakery in San Anselmo? I think that
But
didn't make
so
sense.
I'll respond to that, Rebecca. Look, I don't disagree at all. And you're in the food business, so you probably instantly see it. But I think it's just interesting for the community to know that the EDC as the voice of town council is actually sort of reaching out to these people, because one, that's the word in the community, and two, she may have access to data that we don't have in this community. She may say, oh, by the way, like, hey, I actually did some systematic information about looking at the various communities, and here's why I opted to go to, right, the old Nelly spot, whereas I could have maybe gone to some of the old industrial stuff that they think is going to turn into this great ship tourist thing. I mean, I just sort of think, that conversation may lead somewhere.
I'm happy to get
So-
involved. I don't know if you need me to get involved or if you want to put, who's the person that owns outreach?
See, the attracting, and that's one of the things that we're going to discuss today, is that Javier Fernandez had actually asked to be on item number 3.3, which is identifying ways to target and attract desired businesses to fill vacant locations. And so to me, that would actually kind of fall under that, because it's sort of like, what are the barriers that are preventing people from coming? So again, I think what I'd like to do is to push this into September, because then Javier will be able to be a part of that, and we'd be able to really take a look at it as a whole. Is everybody okay with that? Rich, are you all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
fine.
Rebecca. Is Kelly, can you hear us?
I think she had a dentist appointment, so she was.
Oh,
gonna
okay, poor thing. Okay, we can't even vote on it. So at this point, I'm gonna ask that we just move this to September, and then circle back to Rich. Rich, are you available for your sign?
be- If Elise has the images.
I haven't received anything yet. If you have them on your screen, you could share them. If you can hit share screen at the bottom, the green button.
No, I sent them to you, Elise. I'd rather have you do it because I'm on my phone and I'm not so sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be hard.
You
Okay,
should be-
What I
Do send them by email. It just may be taking a minute because they're graphics.
Okay. Why don't we move on then to filling in the vacant co-lead positions on the action plan, and then we can circle back to Rich. So one of the items, 5.B for the action plan, was to update those vacant positions that were vacated by previous members, Jamie Ginsburg and Brian Stewart. And the new members that we're rolling onto the EDC are Frank Gomez and Javier Fernandez. I've spent at least 2 phone calls, long interviews with each of them, onboarding them about the EDC, what the goals are, the reason, the resolution for the EDC, and really discuss their interests, their passions, and their area of preferred focus. And I'm ready to present the requests and my recommendations as chair of the EDC for each of them to become co-leads of the following action items on our 2020-2021 plan. So Javier Fernandez, with his background, he is very interested in activating vacant storefronts, which is action item number 1.7. Identifying ways to target and attract desired businesses to fill vacant locations, which is action item number 3.3. Zoning changes in downtown and where we consider modifications to attract desired businesses, 3.4. He also would like to be co-lead on item 3.5, which is property owner survey, along with Kelly, and then 3.6, business inventory. So those are the items that he specifically identified, and I support him becoming co-leads for those. Frank Gomez is really interested in the downtown area, and the specific items that he would like to assume a co-lead role on is item number 1.1, expand parking availability, 1.2, which is parking enforcement, 1.3, which is landowner parking partnerships, and then 1.4, downtown parklets and outdoor seating. So those are the recommendations and those are their wishes. Are there questions and comments from EDC members? And Mayor Colbert, or comments? Okay, no comments. Any comments from the public? Elise? Okay, it does not appear that there are.
I don't see anyone with their hands raised.
Okay, thanks so much, Elise. Okay, so then moving forward, I'd like to, would anyone like to make a motion to approve Javier Fernandez, assuming the co-lead position for action items 1.7, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve all of those action points you just mentioned.
Rebecca Bagas, thank you so much. Would anybody else like to second it? Rich, are you?
If
Do you?
if Elise is ready, I'm ready. But I don't
Okay,
know.
hang
For
on.
a
We're
second.
actually the motion to approve Javier for the co-lead positions.
Yes,
Would you like to make a second? You're seconding the motion?
I will second it.
Thanks, Rich. Okay, so everyone in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, now is Kelly on? She's not on.
She's on, she's just muted.
You can raise your
Okay.
hand. Hold on.
Poor thing is in the dental chair.
If you vote Jessica, then you'll have a majority.
Okay, so I
She just
vote,
raised her hand. See it in the
Okay.
corner?
Are you sure we have a quorum though? Oh, Kelly raised her hand. Thank you, Kelly. All right, so the motion to approve Javier for those co-lead of the action items has been approved. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to the motion to approve Frank Gomez. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve Frank Gomez, assuming the co-lead positions for action item 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4?
Make a motion to approve Frank for the mentioned.
Thank you, Rebecca. Would anybody like to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rich. All right. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, Kelly's hand is raised. Okay, so, all right, so that has passed as well. And we will move forward then to Rich Burns. Rich, you have the floor.
Elise, are you good?
So I'm gonna try to open it, but it's telling me that my Adobe is not signed on, so I'm trying to sign on a different computer in the meantime, but let me try for 1 second. I'll try again and see if it'll open the file.
Push comes to shove here. I can just I'll put it up on my monitor and I'll take a picture of it with my phone.
Okay, let me see if it let me sign in.
Do you have it, Elise? If not, let me
Yeah,
try
it's,
it. Okay.
it should be soon. Now it's having me enter some code, sorry.
Can you see what's happening there?
Yes. If you
Okay.
can move it over a little bit so we can see the for lease, it's kind of in the corner there. Nope, the other way. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. This is a program that we were pursuing that would start to decorate the vacant storefronts. This has been an ongoing conversation about, is there anything we can do? And is there a way to use these spaces as a way to both communicate, enhance the town brand and see if we can get some activity for the spaces themselves. The concept is what I'd call a modular quilt. These are they'd be printed with the static adhesive where you can just put them onto the windows, probably adhered to the front side. And the idea would be you would have, where you see the black squares would be clear, transparent, where you could actually look into the interior of the stores. The graphics were, these are something that I worked out with Michael Schwab, where we would be using some of his imagery, trying to, okay, let me go back to this one.
Oh, wow.
Let me take you through the whole thing. So this is one where we started talking about, wouldn't it be cool to take the Sugarfoot and extend that into doing different kinds of animal imagery. Again, these were simply decorative. And then we started to think about, is there a way to extend them into a more communicative, information-based thing? We looked at some where we could actually use photography as a medium in the space, the decorative spaces. And then just going through some of the rest of these images. And then one version that actually used historic sepia tones of historic photographs. It almost becomes sort of like museum displays as you wander through town. You have to take inventory on how many vacant spaces we actually have and how much of a presence this would have, whether it starts to be the right balance or overbearing, but all to be discussed. But then a key aspect of this is this panel here. And what the idea here is that the QR code would be a link back to the brokerage firm. So rather than having the brokerage name for lease and their telephone number, which is the typical sign that goes up in a vacant space, that this is controlling the imagery. It's a very kind of structured panel here. If you go to the QR code, it would take you to a page. It could link anywhere. It could link to the broker site, or it could link to another a specific more detailed communication piece, which would could describe everything. It could describe the town, it could describe the space, it could describe the process for being a tenant in San Anselmo. There's a lot of places that could take you. So it's very, potentially very highly informative. As far as implementing this, there's a couple of aspects to it. One would be, how does this play with the property owners? How does this play with the brokerage community? Because one of the things, we've gone out and gotten some prices on this from Davis, and they're very economical. It's, I think these could be done for a few $100s per storefront. That cost could either be absorbed by probably the chamber would be a natural to manage this program. It could be paid for by the brokerage firms. In fact, it could become almost a form of advertising for the brokerage firm. So there's a whole aspect of it that we'd be looking at. So with that in mind, our next step was to go out and reach out to the property owners and the brokerage community to potentially see what their response to this would be. But I can walk you through. That's the idea again, and you get a sense through some of these imagery of what it can do to a vacant store.
Thank you, Rich. Questions and comments, EDC members and council liaison, Mayor Colbert.
Yeah, I got a quick comment. Hey, Rich, I've seen this before. Thanks for your work on this. I will, obviously it's a great idea in terms of branding. I'll be curious to see what level of your response to get in terms of bearing the cost from either the landlords or the realtors, but I'm sure you'll keep it updated, and thanks as always for your work on this project so far.
Thank you, Mayor Colbert. Anybody else? I have a comment myself, but I'll wait till anybody else have any questions? My first one is the program itself, the management of it. It's not going to be a town program. You're looking at more of like a chamber program. with the overall management of this program?
Is that a question, Jessica, or is that?
Yes, yeah, because I think, I mean, it's such an innovative, amazing program. I mean, I just love it, and it falls within, making the storefront attractive, and it also, gets the word out. People can quickly, get access to the right information. I know we worked on with the onboarding program, and how to get information on how to open a business. But the overall management, is it going to be, managed, or is that something to be determined?
That's an interesting question from the perspective of, on one hand, what is involved in the management? The management is, there's not that, if you had to do an inventory, and at least maybe I'll ask you this question right now, if every vacant storefront in town decided they wanted a program like this, how many stores are we talking about, or windows are we talking about?
Like probably a dozen. I have to update the website vacancies, but a dozen or two. I mean, in terms of storefront retail, there's probably not all that many. The problem that is just coordinating is usually the hard part, is between communicating with the property owner and then ordering the materials. So, I mean, it's not an impossible task, but I know with the art commission, it's even was challenging trying to get art in some of these spots.
No. From my perspective, you could systematize this. All the graphics could be modular, and so you could almost have pick and choose if you're, designing your quilt. That panel with the information on it, I think it's a template that has, there's some boilerplate content, and then there's some customized content for that particular space, specifications on it and other things that are potential uses and what's, what it comes with. How much of that is kind of behind the scenes. You can put that, you could even just make it simply a link to the brokerage site, and they would have their own information, and they could do whatever they wanted to do with it. The idea of having it systematizes to keep it in the San Anselmo brand idiom, but I don't know that that's necessarily critical. And I think it probably is something that should be taken on by the chamber. I have not talked to Benedetto about it. And maybe it's something that would be the next step, is to share that with them. I know that Kelly thought that, reaching out to some of the property owners and getting their take on whether they would just accommodate it is maybe the first step.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I think involving the landlord stakeholders and the agents, and also there are a number of property managers property for the landlords, and so I think probably we would want to get them involved. I think it's a really interesting potential project. I think it falls within the branding, and it's really innovative, and having a QR code where we could have people come, for example, go to the town website where we've got that one-stop shopping on everything on how to open a business easily, at your fingertip, at the.
You could even have a grid of QR codes where you could have a grid of QR codes where you actually subtitle them, learn how to open a business, what the specifications for this property.
Exactly. And like contact information and, just all the things so that it's really broad spectrum. I think it's really innovative. And I do support doing more research on it, because I think the graphics are just beautiful. I just think that they're really beautiful and innovative. Anyway, that's my opinion. So anybody else want to comment? Anybody from the public? Okay, let me ask a question. You know what? I've got Frank. Oh, wait a second. I've got Javier in, but he hasn't been given a panelist. He's on dial-in. Elise, can you give him a approval to be a panelist? So I guess my question is, do we need to make a decision? Was this for information gathering, our opinions, before you're taking it to the next step? Is this an official EDC project. What is it that we're needing to do here?
I think this was just a courtesy presentation. I think we've got some bugs to work out, and when we have
Okay.
something to act on, we can act on it.
I
It
think it's
might be nice to work on a trial with the, with this, because there's really one main vacancy downtown, which is the 640, I think 647 space. The, 647 to 649, where the thrift store used to be, that maybe we could work with that property owner to see if we can get like something in that window to see how it works, and also to see if they would be willing to pay for it.
Mhm.
Do they have a broker, do you know?
HL seems to be
H&L, I think.
brokering most of the places that we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
downtown.
You know,
And there, I believe, if I recall, their windows are covered anyway right now, so it's not, they're
Yeah.
not, some places are afraid of covering the windows, but they seem to already have covered them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other comments or anything from the public that we need to discuss
There's no hands raised.
here? Okay. Javier, welcome. Just to let you know, all of the action items we discussed that you wanted to be a co-lead on was approved. So you're here in time. And I actually am going to be closing out the meeting, because unless there's anything else that we need to discuss, such as, what it is that we want, our next meeting is going to be held on September 14th. We're going to be pushing this spotlight onto that agenda. We're moving it then, and we're going to be continuing via Zoom. Anybody have any agenda items in addition that they'd like to add? No? Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for everyone's participation, and this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.